Fantastic. All right. So fantastic. There we go. We're starting on the Gunnar channels. We're live with the folks on gunnar.com and Instagram and Twitter. How you doing out there, friends? My name is Jeff Fritz. We've been streaming here for a little bit. Happy to have you joining us. And we're talking about right now. We're talking a little bit about 3D printing. We're going to get into writing a little bit of C# code. We've been today we've been building and working on a command line tool for developers who are programming and working with C# and .NET languages. So viewers of my channel, you're going to hear me get speak to some things at a little bit higher level, more descriptive for some of the for some folks who may not think they're entirely technical joining the stream. And we're gonna have a good time together learning and writing some code together here. So thank you so much for tuning in. All right, I'm gonna keep an eye on the comments panel here for the Gunnar channels as well, so I can respond. There we are. We're on the Gunnar Optics channels on Twitch. So good to see you friends out there. So
so I've had a brilliant idea.
What's your idea, Charlie?
What if, and hear me out here.
All right, I'm listening.
What if you actually tested the code first?
Wow. I am, buddy. We're working on that. Jeez. All right. Moving on. Let's head back over to the code. Let's have some fun writing this. Charlie can be a savage, yes. Just awful. He can be so rude there. There we go. We got our Gunnar logo up there. Let me scoot that over to the side. Right. Oh. No, you're not going to just move it over. We're just going to... That's fine. All right. So, revolutionary, totally. So, yeah, this is the
young developer,
3D printer
your skills
that I
are
went and picked up.
impressive, but you are not a Jedi yet. Continue learning. Under my observation.
Okay. Got it. I am on that. So, dear Lord. Charlie is vicious. So, yeah, this is the 3D printer that I got. We're looking forward to that. I've got the Diablo 4 Gunnar glasses on right now. I'll go back over here so you can see. The Diablo 4 glasses on. I love the red trim on the top, right? There's also some logos down the side here. And I don't think there's logos etched on this one, on the glasses. No, there's no logos on the side. But there is a right, see if you can see that. Diablo 4 logo there. So, really like these. I think they look great. I never thought I would really appreciate the corners on the glasses like that, but I think they look good on me. I don't know. So we're writing a little bit of code here, and we wanted to update. Oh, look at that, the little rainbows there. That's nice. So this tool goes and handles and receives commands from the command line, and we're going to take this content and we need to update it so that you can pass in an argument that says, here's the folder that I want this tool to work in. And right now, the tool takes in, where is it? Well, it hands off, hang on, it hands off to the health analysis plugin over here. There it is. And it runs on a repository path that's being passed in. So let's walk that back. Where is that called? Right here. So if there's... Look at that, target path. Parse arguments for a target path. So if the argument starts with double dash, no. Okay, this is good. So the question, the issue that was raised by I forget who it was saying it in chat, was saying that it only runs on the current folder. That's it right there. So we need to be able to give it an argument that says, hey, there's a different folder here you want to work on. So let's give it like a dash P for project, right? If it doesn't start with double dash, then target path is that argument. No, let's do if it starts with dash P or, right? Yeah, starts with path. Yeah, that works. Thank you so much, Code with Sean. Yep, ads are about to start on the Twitch channel, on my Twitch channel. For those that are watching over there. Then it should be the next argument. What? Whatever. Is the target path then to go with. That makes sense. I'm going to need to do the same thing with the, with the vulnerability. I bet it does the, analyze with the repository path. 13 references? Are you kidding? Repository path is target path or, and there's the same thing up there. That's right. There we go. So I feel like this could turn into something that we reuse. So it's not kind of laying all over the place. So we have a standard identified target path from arguments. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. Let's create an extension class. Right, there was a utilities thing over here. Yeah, let's do that. No, I didn't want a folder. New file. String extensions. I don't know. Sounds good. So we'll create a namespace, right, that refers to here's where this thing lives. And I'm going to create this as a public static class. Zoom in just a smidge. No. String extensions. Starts with ignore case? No. Yeah. Identify target path from arguments. Sure. Now, why don't you like that? Oh, yeah. Sure, give me some XML documents. Just do it. Using the standard dash P or path. There we go. Command line arguments collection. The folder path, if any, that was submitted. Right? Well, all right, then let's call this command line argument extensions. I think that makes more sense. And then we can rename the file. Cool. So now I've got a centralized way to do that. And I can take this and say args dot, right? Identify target path and get rid of that. That was easy. Let's update this one over here. Args dot identify, and I can get rid of that. I'm going to leave that in for right now. I think we're okay with that. Yeah. Okay. Continuing. So those two plugins now handle folder location being passed in. So when you debug, you can pass in the path as an argument and it'll go find that. So what that also means, do that. Let's do a little branch cleanup here. Path arg. Cool. So what that should mean is I can go I can execute this from here, right? Project source. This is called code medic. And I can pass in a path that is from there. Yeah. And we can say format is, let's say Markdown. I know that was just off screen there behind me, but you'll see it in a second. Oh, I need dash format. Who knew? I should have known. It's my own app here. Unknown command -p. Oh, because I didn't. There we go. And it's all output in Markdown format. I can pipe that into wherever I need it to go. Cool. I need to update the health screen. Help screen. So it includes that -p argument. Right, see, that's identifying format. Version, help. Okay, so maybe it's on the help for these examples. I don't think I have a way to describe the help content here. You know? Right? I need to tell it, hey, there's a come here. Really? I think that broke. Chat editor. There we go. I think we want to be able to specify a list of available arguments for a command and the purposes of those arguments when we register a command. Period. For example, I want to be able to add the -p argument for path for the health command here. Yeah, see, I say period, and it doesn't, yeah. Go help me out with that. So, folks are watching us right now on the Gunnar Instagram and Twitter, Twitch channels. Hope you're doing well out there. If you're out and the folks are watching and shopping for a pair of Gunnar glasses for folks for the holiday season, there are all kinds of coupons and deals available for you right now. I want you to especially check out the discounts that are available. I believe there's still a discount for prescription Gunnar glasses that are available on the Gunnar channels and on the website. There's a bucket sale going on again right now. Mystery boxes. Yeah, there is a 30% off deal right now for prescriptions. What?
Before you deploy, might I suggest?
Okay.
And I'm just spitballing here.
Help me out here.
Fixing it first.
That's what I'm doing. My chatbot is a little antagonizing. I wanted to make sure that the folks out there that are watching on the Gunnar channels know about the prescription sale that's going on right now. Okay? So 30% off prescription glasses. It's huge. The deal that you're going to get over there. Thanks so much, Space Cat. Appreciate it. Check those out. And the other thing that I think is kind of cool, this here, the bucket sale. So there are $20, $30, and $40 buckets. Okay? If you're buying, if you've got a an office Pollyanna, right? You're exchanging gifts with folks in the office. There are $20, $30, and $40 buckets of different style Gunnar glasses that fits in perfectly with your budget for your Pollyanna gifts at the office. Order a pair, give them out as gifts to your friends there so that you give the gift of protecting someone's eyes, vision protection. It's really great stuff. Big thanks to the folks at Gunnar. Look at that. Did I see the Loki glasses were in there? I thought I saw the Loki glasses in that list. There they are. Loki Asgard edition. $20 for this cool pair of green glasses that you can get. Love seeing that. That's so cool. So check them out. Big thanks to our friends at Gunnar for their support, promoting and sharing, and getting us over there on their channel today. Here we go. So I've asked Copilot, I've asked the AI to take a look at our code and offer some suggestions and help out here so that we can add some command argument descriptions to the output of our help arguments here. And it's doing a little bit of work to clean that up. So that's going to be good to see stitched together here. Keeping an eye on a couple things here. Yep, we're good. We are in great shape. There is a Code It with AI episode. The podcast that I co-host with our friend Carl Franklin There's a new episode coming out, I believe it's tomorrow, where we're going to start introducing and talking about coding agents. How you can customize agents that run and have different tools and expertise that they can use to work with your code, work with you in Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio, whatever tool you might be using to help out. So, a panic patch in JavaScript dependencies. No, I haven't seen that. So, here we go. So, we're getting this improved format. On the console output that looks a lot better. There you go. Global options format, path. Nice. So it's running through and just doing some tests to see what it looks like. Output in those different formats. It's really handy using the AI like this to help out with assisting writing our code. This stuff that it's working with isn't really copyright. I don't feel like we're lifting content from artists, from creative folks here. So let's see what it let's read the summary here and see the updates that it made over on the left here. Successfully implemented argument specification support for the command registration system. So added a command argument class. So here's a command argument. Okay. With a short name, a long name, description, is it required? Does it have a value, a default value, and a value name? And then enhance the command registration so that we can pass in arguments. So there's a general help that shows command-specific options. Command-specific help, nice. Shows detailed usage. Okay, I like that. And enhanced all the core commands to include the path argument specification. Nice. Fix the argument parsing logic to properly handle command-specific help versus general help. Okay. Very cool. So let's take a look at how it updated the health analysis, because that's where I was working. So there's the command registration it did and the examples. But when you run this, I don't see where it's going to grab the health. Render banner, render help. Show command specific arguments. Render command help. There we go. Well, that's nice. Okay, I like it. And it's rendering it to the console only. So that's good. That we don't want it to try and output to some other format that we may have been specifying. So I like what it did there. So I'm going to include those changes. Updated to allow a path argument in the execution of a command. Yeah, there we go. I'll push those changes. And it's to fix this one, number 21, that was identified. So there we go. And we'll add this in. Yep. Fixes 21. Create that pull request, and it should go through and run all my tests now. Now, I should probably generate some tests, update some documentation to go along with this. And those I see as very much, those are things that I really want to, like you saw, I wrote a lot of the path processing capabilities in here. I want to hand off the generation of documentation and unit tests. Those things I really want to hand off to the AI to work on, because they're things that I don't enjoy and things that I don't think you would find enjoyable to watch me do. So, yeah, see that? It passes in a root path when the vulnerability scanner starts. There we go. So we'll reach into this. Okay. So there it is, passing in the repository path. Is it... Right, there's register commands, execute, identify target path. There we go. We've got that same method that we wrote. So, good. I'm happy with that integration, but I want to make sure that we go through and update our documentation. And actually, I'd like this to be a record. Convert the command argument to a record instead of a class. Right? Command argument, this is something that it really should be a record, right? A record is a very simple, very short syntax for defining an object in our code, right? So instead of having a class all laid out like this, I can define my command argument as one line with a little bit of documentation to go with it. And we just need to update over here. Instead of new command argument with curly braces and defining these, we just change the syntax slightly. Creates the exact same stuff, but instead of having all the overhead of having a full class here, we know that it's a very small idempotent object, right? We can't change it directly after it's been created, called an argument. It also gives us some nice formatting when we need to compare those objects to each other. So, cool. So it converted it from a class to a record and updated the plugin files. Nice. Converted command argument to a record. And I'll push those out. Next, I wanted to generate some tests. Can you generate some unit tests for the new path argument for these plugins? So let it generate a couple unit tests for us, and then we'll generate some documentation, push all that out, merge it in, and we'll be ready to move forward with our next steps. So, cool. Now, right now, there's, for some of the developers that are watching, if you want to get in and do more AI stuff, an event started over on the Visual Studio channel and on Twitch about it's the .NET Agentic Developer Day. I think that's what they called it. So, come here. It is... I don't see it. So, how we doing, chat? I feel like I'm on here. AI Dev Day, that's it. It's today and tomorrow. I think it's today and tomorrow. So, comprehensive unit test for the path argument functionality. Don't mind if I do. So, get that rolled out. it's important to me to increase our surface area for the test here to make sure that we have assurance, right? Assurance and insurance that these things are behaving. 10th to the 11th, is it tomorrow? Might be. Next Thursday, we're going to be live on the front page of Twitch. We're going to be starting a little bit earlier on Thursday. We're going to be live over there. I'm setting up to do some of the code.org Hour of Code lessons during that event. We're going to do that. I've got a handful of other things that I want to do during our visit with the front page. I particularly want to do the Minecraft for Education exercises. So that folks that are casually going by on Twitch see Minecraft and drop in like, hey, look, Fritz is playing Minecraft. Nah, not really. It's Minecraft for Education. It's kind of. So, yeah, but we will be on the front page. All right, create some tests for, so this one, the bill of materials is where I want to go next, right? And I should probably show you the vulnerability analysis running, and we'll proceed from there. So, oh my goodness, Chuck with the gift subs.
Chuck Beasley just gifted 10 subs.
10 gift subs in the channel. Thank you so much, Chuck Beasley. That is phenomenal to hear. Phylin, Tenna, Charles, Wellgun Master, One's the Loneliest, Go HCW, Macro Hard, Camasel Tamer, Axel the Ashen, and La Blue, LA Blue. Congratulations, you got gift subs. Thank you so much, Chuck. That is phenomenal. I really appreciate the support, helping us out here. Trying to get our subscriber count up into the 200s so we can cross into another level of earnings capabilities here, things that we can do with the channel. So, running all the tests. Look at all those tests. Dear Lord. Right? So 56 tests run, all succeeded. 5.8 seconds. You just did. You just did. Like, now 103 tests passing. A quick functional test. What? Microsoft Front Page was such good software. It was. Front Page was amazing. So, here we go. Test files created. Command line argument tests. Command line argument extension tests to handle empty array and the path arguments. Health analysis plugin path test to make sure we're handling the path properly. Cool. So, right, let's look at added bounds checking to prevent index out of range. Added break statement to return first found path argument. Okay. Test results. 56 new tests specifically for the path argument functionality. Oh, so wait a sec. So this is saying, hang on. In that command line argument extensions, yeah, look at this. Look at what it fixed. So if there is a path argument and we have something else, then go get that something else and then stop. Don't continue processing. Nice. Yeah, you're right. The markup in Front Page was dreadful. Dreadful. What else did we do here? So now we've got 103 tests. We've got complete coverage for the new path argument feature. Nice. So we'll keep that, include this, generate a commit message. And Let's update our documentation to include notes about the path argument. And let it go through and figure that out. And deliver those. Cool. There's like a weight off my shoulders knowing that we're going to get good tests. We're going to get some good documentation updated here, right? Just looking at that list of tests that it created while this is off and running here, right? So, working on the path, register commands when called returns command with path argument, command with correct examples, uses the current directory when there's no arguments, when short path argument then uses the path, when long path uses the correct path. Like, these would be dumb for us to write by hand. Getting the AI to generate those, right? And taking a look at the code that it wrote, right? Like, I could have written that by hand, but man, that would have been annoying to write. So, I'm okay with that. And it looks good. So, checking to see if there's any documentation to update. So it updated the README for the repository to include some of the new path arguments here. Command line quick reference to include those. Output. Information about the path argument. Nice. Okay. Installation and running. Run via scripts. Run via data. I also saw the formatter here. Maybe we can drop the JSON formatter in while we're at it. That should be easy to do. Command line argument documentation for architecture? Sure. Docker usage. Specifying being able to pass in /-- path for the repository location. Nice. Okay. The vulnerability scanning, updating it so it includes path arguments. Okay. So we're getting through this. And so I want to do JSON, and I want to do a little bit on the bill of materials. I think JSON format we can do first. The JSON format, right, is a simple format that is supported by JavaScript readers, but it's also important because it's something that we can expose then as a service. And when we get into doing an MCP for this, right? MCP is a model context protocol. It's a way for us to take this tool and expose it so that AI, the language models, can call that. So I can let Copilot execute this command as part of its analysis process, right? That gets interesting because then, right, we can tell Copilot how to interact with CodeMedic. That's cool, right? Being able to take your tools that you're building and allow the language model to interact with them, right? Or your application, and allow the AI to interact and return some analysis based on what it can do with your application. That's some pretty cool stuff and pretty powerful stuff that you're going to be able to start to do more of going forward. So, updated the user documentation, the main documentation, the technical documentation. Here we go. Command registration system, and it included information about arguments there. Built-in path argument support. Cool. That works for me. So I'll update and just write updated docs. I don't need to be overly descriptive about it. Can you not use tune format? Why? Why would I want to use tune format? Help me out. Like, I could. The MCP server will automatically take care of that kind of formatting for me. JSON's also used in there. So maybe hold off on JSON format. Yeah. All right. So that's updated, and I think we can really move this over here. Take this one and close that. And I'm going to go up here over to this one. So it's run all the tests against all the things. So let's merge. Yep. So we've got documentation, we've got tests, all updated out there, and we'll close out and delete that branch, and I'll bring everything back. Right? We'll bring in what we just merged. So phenomenal. Look at that. I'm flattered when folks gift subs to the channel and they want to spread information and share about the things that we're doing here on stream. Thank you so much for that. All right. So the next thing that I wanted to go back to over here, let's go back over to the issues. Before I go into, I don't think I want to do that yet. This would be fun to build. But I think that might be a little bit further than I want to go. Yeah, tune used for the LLM. Yeah. The token object-oriented notation, something like that. Yeah, so there's an SDK, right? There's a tool that we can use with our .NET code that will handle that formatting and presentation for us so that we can focus on just building our methods that we're going to, and the tools we're going to expose to the LLM. So Quickfire over there on YouTube, don't need to quite go that far building that out inside of my code, because the framework that I'll use enables that for me. So thanks for the question. No, I don't want to do that. Don't do that. I don't want to restart the computer. We're broadcasting here. All right. I'm going to close all those. Back up here. We had started writing some docs about some features here. Plugin architecture, vulnerability scanning. Let's start talking about bill of materials. So in enterprise development, right, when we're building software for big companies, the lawyers, the executives, the folks that sign the checks at the end of the day, they want to know the bill of materials. What are all the things that we're referencing and we're using in our projects, in the software that our teams are building, so that we can manage exposure to vulnerabilities, to security issues, what have you. So that document that summarizes here's all the things is called a bill of materials. And one of the initial features that we talked about and thought would be a good feature to build is a way to generate a bill of materials for a project. And we talked to Copilot. We generated this document based off of some of the feedback from chat, some of the ideas we had for what's involved in generating this type of a document. And we want to be able to identify external dependencies, packages, frameworks, services, vendors that we're using. We want to provide links to those features. We want to detect configuration and environment requirements. So as you build and push your project to various locations, what configurations are needed? And let's store that information somewhere about what's required there. Any risk factors? Hey, these packages haven't been touched in a long time. The dependencies that are, right, vulnerable dependencies, we've already got that built. And vendors that aren't approved, right? Drift detection. Hey, you know what? You haven't updated this package in a while. So, and produce machine readable and human readable outputs. That's where we might want some JSON format for this. So for our NuGet packages, right? Our packages that .NET uses, we want a detailed inventory of all the dependencies. The frameworks that we're using, specify what's being used there. Detection methods, the value it delivers. External services. So are you using a cloud provider here? Are you using third-party APIs? Like, if something happens and we see that there's some news about Stripe or Twilio or one of these vendors that are doing things that you might want to be aware of, be good to be able to raise that on this. Ink4s with the question here, will I list dependencies licenses? That's a great idea. And it is listed here on the package, bill of materials. So let's update this to say license type with link to the package license. Right? Because the folks that are reading this document, they won't be able to go into a NuGet package and pluck out the license file from there. But to provide the link that goes back to NuGet.org or wherever their license is, the authoritative version of their license is stored, and point to that file would be handy. So I like where you're going with that, Ink4s, and we can see a little bit. And if you're interested in seeing what I've got started here, this documentation, it's right here on GitHub in the doc, and where is it? Feature bill of materials document. And I'll share that link right there. You can mark warnings about change in licenses. That's a fantastic point to be made there also. Where did it go? Report changes in licenses between current used version and newer versions that are available. There we go. People would probably want to know whether some packages are open source or not. Sure. Open source versus commercial. No, versus closed source. Commercial is another one. Commercial package with links to pricing pages, right? License related limitations. I like where you're going with the suggestion ice cream stick model. But I think I think we can provide links to those types of things, right? Like, hey, this is MIT licensed. Here's a link to. There's a website out there. I can't remember the name of it. There's a website that describes the licenses in layman's terms, right? OSS software license descriptions. Like there's a couple different places that wrote up what the hot wax systems really like. GitHub had a thing. Here we go. So there was somebody in chat earlier who was talking about writing their own license. You can do that. It's not accepted by the open source initiative if you just write your own license. You can submit it for approval, but they're not going to endorse and say, what happened there? They're not going to endorse and say your license is an open source license. Here's the complete text of that license. Yeah, this is just saying here's what these licenses are. GitHub did have a description of open source licenses. Open source license descriptions. There was something there. Will it be enforceable? Right? That's a very good what do we got here? Choose a license dot. That's not bad. Ice cream stick model. This might, right? This is a nice description of various open source software licenses. Yeah, I did skip their blog post. I think we can just provide, like, in a footer for more information about licenses and link to here. So that, right, just as a fixed bit of documentation when we start doing reporting on this. I think this is nice to link to. What do you think, chat? Help me out there. When you do create your own license, there is a question about, is it enforceable legally? So we can definitely do something. I think we can link to this to make it pretty clear. Its description of AGPL v3 is a bit wrong. Even static or dynamic linking to an AGPL library requires full source code disclosure. Stand by. I'm not familiar with it. Well, right. The purpose of this, right, is to give a high-level summary, and there's a link to the full license if you want to read into it. So. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of these. Let's start building some of this out. Now, before I go too much further, create a branch for this. Let's call this BOM Phase 1. Right? BOM, Bill of Materials. BOM. All right. So I've got somewhere to work here. And in the project, plugins, and under Bill of Materials. Now, for some reason, it copied these over. There is another NuGet inspector up here and a reference to the physical file system. I don't need those two there. So this plugin at this point was just calling the NuGet inspector and getting a list of those versions and then generating a bill of materials report. And it wasn't really doing much at this point, right? If I run this right now, right, .NET run, I'm going to run, bill of materials, and if I don't give it, it'll just run on the current folder. That's fine. Go. Let's see what it returns here. So, right, restoring NuGet packages, package restore completed, generating comprehensive bill of materials. And right now it's just this this list. I thought there were transitive dependencies. I'm not going to dig into it. Okay, so now we need to start extending out information about these packages. So we are getting, right? Do we have target framework? Not built yet. Well, let's come back to that. Let's do, I think license type we can put in this table. Right, once we've identified, where'd it go? Yeah. Let's include this. And let's include the document. I want to work more on the NuGet package feature of the bill of materials command. Let's start adding licensing information to the table of packages in the output. I'm curious to see where it goes to get that information to output here. Let's see what we get to here. Now, licenses are technically inside the NuGet package. So I'm curious if this is going to expand the NuGet package and go poke at the license that's inside of it. Right? You know you can do that, right? Hey, Thindall, hello. So, yeah, while you're poking around there, how's it going? You're not late, I'm early? Oh, okay. Let's see, I'm going to drop into CodeMedic. I don't think it... brings a copy of the packages here. There's the DLLs. No. If we say .NET NuGet, no, where is it? Oh. There we go. There's my sources, but there's a locals is what I want. .NET NuGet, not NuGert. There we go. So I can go into that location. Yeah. One second. And here's all the packages that my machine has. So let's go find XUnit, because XUnit. There it is. So there's the package versions, and if I go down to 293, there's the nupkeg, and the content that comes with it. But importantly, there's the new spec. And there's the license. So we should be able to grab these. Step 1, want thing. Step 2, consider if you need thing. Of course I do. Step 3, decide you'll be happier with the thing, but probably won't. Order thing, expect delivery on Friday, get email delivery tomorrow. Win? Yes, big win. Big win. So, working as designed. Is it, though? There, look at that. License. MIT, BSD3, MIT, Apache. All right. What do we got here? What did you do? So, give me the summary. Where's the summary? You don't have a summary. Extended the package info class with license and license URLs. What? That's my license. License URL property. There they are. Yeah, okay. Implemented license fetching via the NuGet API using the new spec files. There it is. Via the NuGet API. Where do you see that? How about info on what the repercussions? So the idea was to put a link out to choosealicense.org. Here, fetch license information. Where fetch license for packages, and it's going to NuGet for that. Okay. We could probably do a little bit more with that, but okay. Yes, let's add a footer. Add a footer to the package table in the markdown output, markdown format. That links to here. And says something like, for more information about OSS licenses. So we want to be able to detect that commercial license also and include some sort of indicator that it's commercial or open source. If it's commercial or not, open source or closed source. So I think we're getting here. License compliance education. Cool. Legal team resources, developer awareness. Yes. Graceful fallback, async processing. Cool. Can we also add a column to that package table that indicates whether the package is open source or closed source? And perhaps another column to indicate if the package is commercial. I don't think it's going to be able to get this information directly. Let's see what it does. So, Thindall, do you like that? Do you like that idea of a link to choose a license here? Where, to your point, right? Like, I'm a big fan of the MIT license. I can use it for commercial, distribution, modification, private use. I have no liability. I have no warranty that's offered. And license and copyright notice needs to be carried around. Apache also provides use for patents and private. So the idea here is if I patent something in the open source software, you're allowed to use the software, but you're not allowed to use the patent. It's weird like that. Do whatever you like with this, but if it explodes, it's your problem, not mine. If you're using this for medical and or heroic things with the fire department or whatever, and there's a problem, that's not my problem, it's your problem. So let's see, what did it do? Source type, open source, closed source, or unknown, indicates if packages are yes, commercial, no, free, or unknown. Let's give it a try. Let's give it a try. Didn't go up far enough. And run it again. See what we get. Oh. Where am I? Fine. Run it right here. So this only ran in the CodeMedic folder, and you see there it's only used on CodeMedic. None of these are commercial, open source. Okay, I guess that's all right. All right. We're getting somewhere, right? So now if I run it on the whole jam, there you go. It's hitting the API for each one of these. I don't know if I like that. Let's change Gunnar glasses. I feel like changing things up. Because that's what I do. I think caching it is the appropriate thing. I also think I did a .NET restore. We have the package locally. The information is in the package. Like, the license is there. So let's do that. Like, then I don't even have to go somewhere else. Just look at the files on disk. I'm going to put on the Witcher glasses here. Uh-oh. That's all right. Yeah, these are the Witcher Interceptor glasses. I think these look cool. Right? Kind of aviator types of glasses, and they've got leather wrapping down the side here. Makes it look really, really cool. Check these out right there. So, I like it. Is it checking if the latest version is in use? That is a good reason to call the NuGet API. So let's do a couple things, a couple refactorings here. I like where Ice Cream Stick Model is going with. Let's confirm that we're using the latest version or not. And include that information here, upgrade available, and what that version number is. And then also cache the lookup of those licenses. So let me go back over here where it was doing the license detection. Let's create a new one of these. Bring you back over here. Take this one. Close that out. So where was it? Fetch license for package. Yeah. I'd rather not go out to the NuGet API to fetch licenses for packages, period. If we've restored the NuGet packages like we have inside this plugin, comma, we should be able to look at the local NUSPEC file for that package and read the license information from that spec document. Then we'll come back and talk about the latest version. That we can hit the API for, and that will run very, very fast to come back and tell us what the latest versions are. Yep. There we go. Now, it should be running those just fine when this executes from inside of a Docker container. Right? So, what did we do here? Get NuGet packages folder async. Fetch license for package async, passing in that global packages path. NuGet global packages list. Yeah. So we can get the location for global packages. Okay. Mm-hmm. Is now reading license information from local new spec files. Yeah. So somewhere down in here. So fetch license, package folder, new spec path. If file does not exist, try alternative naming. Read all text, parse the XML. Cool. Fantastic. So run that John again. Let's see what it drops out here. And then we'll talk about the latest version checking. Hey, Reg, how you doing? And yeah, that works. Okay. I don't know why I cleared that. Go run that again. Okay. One second. My younger daughter is having some issues with her Surface Pro. We said I earlier. Oh man, did I? I missed that. Or I'm. There's a lot happening here. So, okay. So we have a cleaner way to do that. Let's update those. And then let's do this detect package update. Right, this. Try again. Bring you over here. And I am moving the Copilot window around just so it's easier for us to find what's going on here. I want to be able to detect if there are new versions of NuGet packages that are referenced in my solution. New versions available. If there are new versions available, comma, indicate the latest version in the package table. Yeah, just do that for right now. Just, hey, there's new versions available. Go check over there. I don't want to do any analysis of what's changed. And after this, let's do the check for stale. Right? So, ice cream stick model with the good suggestion of check to see if there's new versions of a package available. But then we'll do the other side here. Well, there hasn't been an update in X amount of time. That's a good one. The stale check. So we're going to go about another half hour here. Talking tech, writing some code together, getting Copilot to do some research and write some code for us. I feel like we're at an intersection of vibe coding and getting the AI to write a little bit for us. Don't use any that are less than 30 days old in case there was a problem. That's not bad, Jedi. That's not a bad idea. Right, there's an intersection of stale and hardened. Well, hang on. If it's less than, it might be, let's talk this through, Jedi Wing Knight. There might have been a package, right, a new minor version, right? The foo package has been updated, and it's now on version 5.0. And that update came out 2 weeks ago. So that doesn't fit into that type of buffer. There might be patches that fix bugs. So we have 501, 502, 5.0.3. And that 5.0.3 with that bug fix, yeah, what Marcus is pointing out, that might be the good bug fix version that we want. And that came out yesterday. So, and Ice Cream Stick model with a good point as well. There might be a critical patch, a security patch that was released that we want to take. So maybe there's an intersection here for that Jedi Wing Knight is pointing to of maybe don't take new minor versions, don't take new major versions within X amount of days of release. Stable versus preview, that I absolutely think is a good one. Yeah, to be sure, there is absolutely, there are preferences that developers have in being aggressive with taking updates. I want the latest stable releases as quickly as possible. I want the latest preview releases as quickly as possible. Versus the conservative of, I don't want a new minor version, but take new patch versions for the major. Stuff like that. What do we got here? So detects newer versions of NuGet packages by calling the NuGet API. Shows the latest version in the latest column. Uses visual indicators, an arrow for updates available, a check for current. Filters out pre-release versions to show only stable. Handles network errors gracefully, timeouts 404s. Updates the summary statistics to show count of updatable packages. Maintains semantic versioning comparison to determine if a version is newer. And I think that's a little bit of right where and Jedi Wing Knight, you're making a very good point here about talking about that type of not just selection, but right suggestion of, hey, it's time for you to update these packages. Not just there's a latest version available, but that nudge of there's a latest version available and you should take this. On the other side of that discussion is the stale comment. Hey, you've got the latest version, but you know what? It hasn't been updated since 2024, since last year. You might be concerned about this. So let's see what it changed. 161 lines changed. So down in here, so after we fetch the license information, fetch latest version information. Okay. And then here, formatting the headers there. Yeah. Latest version display. Good. Packages with updates. Nice. Down here, here's that fetch latest version information. Look at this. So we can do things concurrently. Setting up a semaphore. Waits for a semaphore, so it's only doing at most 5. Fetch latest version for package. Right? Semaphore, it's initial, so it's going to start 5 and use 5. So fetch latest version with, yeah, there it is, and there's the API. That I'm okay with. And I don't think we need to cache those. Like, it's okay to hit that API. There's long cache headers on that API NuGet. We don't need to worry about caching that locally. They're good at doing that. And right now we're talking about just public packages. When we start to get into commercial packages, and I'm thinking of our friends at Progress or Dev Express, they have a different server that these come from. And we're going to have to deal with that. Handle non-public NuGet servers. In situations where we're working with commercial products that have non-public NuGet servers, we're going to need to be able to handle the inspection and fetching of information about those packages differently than the public packages that we're currently primarily focused with. Now, I said primarily, and what, you don't like that? And that's no, it's not NuGet servers. Sorry, I'm sorry. Your NuGet package has cat scratch fever. Yeah. So that's going to be an important thing to be able to handle at some point. No, back over here. So, right, look at that. Feature detects several packages have updates available. Okay. Show me. We'll see how this looks. So, I know folks here on my channel, I know you've heard me talk about Gunnar glasses a lot. Oh, look at the formatting there. That's not kosher. We're going to get that cleaned up. But I know the folks here on my channel, you've heard me talk about Gunnar glasses, how much I enjoy wearing them for years and years. But they've shared some information with me about some of the cool partnerships and new designs they have coming out in 2026. If you don't have money for Gunnar glasses now, if you don't want to take advantage of some of the deals that they have now, I want to make sure that you know there are some partnerships, there are some cool fashion forward glasses that you're going to see that are from some of your favorite games and pop culture shows and movies coming up in 2026 that look phenomenal. Even if you just buy them for the sunglasses, you don't want to get them for, you've got a nice pair of computer vision glasses you like, you are going to love these sunglasses that are coming out in 2026. All right. So love the innovation that the team is always coming out with. Yeah, we need to fix that, right? Do I want to copy that? No, let's take a screenshot. Paste that into ye old John. Ye old John. There we go. Formatting for the new columns has skewed the console output. Fix it! Fix it. The arrow up is knocking things. No, I don't think it's the... oh, it is the arrow. You're right. Yeah. I don't think that's it. Here it goes running here. Ah, that's better. Notice it's using this arrow indicator instead. So. And we'll try it in this editor. That didn't... That still didn't work. No. Is that a font thing? I'm using the same font. I see the correct format in the VS Code terminal, but when running in Windows terminal with PowerShell, I see these skewed columns again. Skewed columns still. It already, yeah. It is really wide by default. Yeah. using ASCII characters. Mm-hmm. I'm going to miss the emoji, but I think this makes more sense to just say current. That's not bad. I think that works for our needs. What happens if a package is used in more than one project? Looks better. What happens if a package is used in more than one project? Emojis are getting a bad rap lately. People can tell you've used AI. I think you're right. The over emojification, is that a thing? I think it is. The emojification is that with the M dash clearly indicate you used AI. Especially Claude. Claude is emojis all over the place. What if the same package has different versions across projects? That's a great question. And it outputs 2 rows. Cool. That works for me. Yeah, add that. Yep. Is there a report on the health if there's different versions of packages? Speaking of different versions of packages in different projects in the same solution, comma, is there an output in the health analysis report for different version packages across different projects in the solution? Question mark. I think there is a mismatch projects. I think there is. Yeah, look at that. It already has package-specific mismatch detection. Yeah, see that? So I want to come back now to... There should be information related found vulnerabilities. Ice cream stick model. I've already got that coming with a different command. So the transitive packages, the transitive package is right there. Why aren't they being picked up and included here? So let's grab that and that over here. Yeah. The bomb analysis is not identifying any of the transitive dependencies that are being reported in the health analysis period. Investigate. Not Baum. Visual Studio downgrading packages if mismatch happens. Yeah, that's a problem. But you're right, M. Pulowski. It's not finding it for some reason. Go get it. Go get it. I need to find it. There we go. So it's running a test to see if it finds it. That didn't do anything. Oh, no, there they all are. All right. That works for me. And I think it worked for Copilot. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Why am I not using Sonnet 4.5 or Opus? No reason. I could. Opus is a little bit higher demand, so it's doing the same thing for me. So, hey, well, look at that. We're going streaking. How you doing there? Is it G-Bone? Hello. So, good. We've got that information being included now. I like what we're seeing. Save that change. Yep. Okay. So close that. Now let's do that licensing change. When we fetch information about packages from NuGet.org, I also want to detect if the license changes and raise that as a warning on the report. NuGet.org. Let's see what it can update here. So, it's doing a fetch to go out and get information about the package, right? We have to do the framework section. Not terrible. External services. We'll work on that. Fetch licenses. Okay. Fetch license information from the NuGet API. See, right, so package name index JSON. Like, right, if we go to that, right, so if we go there and let's look up newtonsoft.json. right? Lots of versions. So that's just version information. Ooh, it wrote 230 lines here. Has license change, and it's got a indicator there. Once again, emoji. License changes detected. I don't think I want it as columns in the table. What do we got down here? Oh, and it's going and getting the new spec directly. Ooh. So... Okay. Look at them tests. Oh, dear Lord. 100 tests in 10 seconds. That's fine. I don't want license change information in the table of packages, but only listed as warnings below the table. I could go through and delete that, but go figure this out. What else? Oh, stale package detection. Let's do that next. We should be able to do that right as we wrap up here. I don't want to cut a new version, but definitely checking these all in and providing that update, because I still want to do the framework and vendor references so we can inspect those. Testing, isn't that what production is for? Come on, the bog rat. What's a few tests between friends? Cleaner table, focused warnings, better user experience. Yeah. So now, right, run this again for my project and watch it clear things out. Ooh. Ooh. Well, those are the projects here. We've somehow entered a space where the projects being analyzed are appearing in the packages table. Period. Let's make sure that those values are omitted from the table. What? And then we'll generate some tests, and then let's take that stale package feature. Report on packages that are stale. We should be able to inspect the packages and report whether the packages had any activity in a certain amount of time. Had any recent activity. And optionally raise a warning if there has been no activity within a duration specified by the user, or a default of 1 year. Right? I think 1 year is not bad to say something stale. Like, if something hasn't been updated in 6 months, okay. Like, that might be okay. But if something hasn't been updated in a year, that's a problem. There, it ran all the tests. So, yeah. All right, good. I appreciate the confirmation there, right? Like, you got to keep me honest here, that I'm not out trying to do something weird. So, yeah, that's one of the projects in the boat here. Like that's not. You're gonna make me do this myself because you can't figure it out. It's getting a list of project references passed in. No. It's... You know what? For right now, that does what I need. Okay. Let me open the pull request. I'm not going to merge this yet. I'm going to mark it as a draft. With license information. Yeah. Latest version. Now including... license used in local NuGet package. New spec doc. Warning if there is a no. Version number if a new package version is available. A warning message if a new package version has a new license. Yeah. Oh, I wanted that to be draft. That's fine. Leave it out there. So you can take a look at that pull request if you're interested. There's a link for you in chat. So, right, this is the matrix build that it's doing, right? For those of you that are watching that aren't familiar with what's going on, when we make changes to our code, we save copies into GitHub, our source code repository, right? This is, they keep a safe copy of the code we've been working on, and they run these actions. Whenever we make a change and we save it into GitHub, we push those changes to GitHub, it's going to run these tests to make sure things work, right? Verify that we didn't put something in that breaks the application. And because we want this application to work on Windows, Mac, and Linux, it's running against what we call a matrix, right? So there's a Windows machine, a Linux machine, and a Mac machine that are out there that GitHub sent my code to and said, go make sure that these things build and they pass all of those tests, all 100 some of those tests that we had specified. And if we click into this, we can actually see, right? It uploaded the test results somewhere. I don't know where. But we can see down here at the end, it ran 103 tests properly. So, containers to the rescue. That's coming. So, we can see all of those test reports right here, right? This is going to give me a zip file that I'm going to have to pop open and take a look at. And there's a way to do this a little bit cleaner, but I'm okay with that for now. So, but this test and check on the work that we did, really handy, especially when we're a single developer that's working on a project, or we're working on a project that's open source like this that anybody can access, to be able to see when changes are made that prevent something else from working properly, to be able to peek in and take a look at those and clearly see a list of all the files that have been changed that we can work on. So it's good stuff. We're making progress. I like what's happening here. But it's time for me to call it a stream. And yeah, we're going to be saying goodbye to our friends that are watching on the Gunnar channel as well, because we're at the end of our time streaming with them. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in, for being with us here. Always a lot of fun writing code together on stream. Big thanks to our friends at Gunnar for supporting the stream, sponsoring the stream, for sharing and syndicating out to the Gunnar channels on Instagram and Twitter, Twitch, and there was somewhere else. Anyways, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll be writing some more code. We're going to dig in a little bit further on this. I'm going to record a quick summary video that explains what we accomplished today, what the bill of material is, how it's growing, some of those initial features that we put in there, and talk about some of the shortcomings that have cropped up as well. All right? Let me see who else is streaming on the big Twitch TV network. For those of you that are watching my channel on Twitch, let's get you set up with another channel, some more great .NET content that you can go check out. Looking around the horn here. Oh, look at that. He knows that I was starting. He was just here a little bit ago. We're going to raid him. Our friend Thindall is streaming right now on Twitch. Let's go say hello to him, all right? There's your raid. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks so much for watching. There's great videos on my channel right over here, down here. Make sure you check out the playlist all about CodeMedic. You've got a couple of little 5 to 10 minute videos that'll tell you more about how this application was decided on and how it's growing. And we're going to see that story evolve on that playlist, and hopefully it gets a little bit more interesting over time. If you're watching on Twitch, get ready to say hi to our friend Thindol. And if you're watching on one of the Gunnar channels, have a fantastic rest of your day. Make sure you protect your eyes. You're going to appreciate it. All right? And I guess that's all to say for everybody. I wish you have a fantastic rest of your day. I wish you good health and good coding. Take care.